are live.
Yeah, sir. Congressman Tiffany, thanks for joining us here. State Fair, Moms for Liberty booth. Really appreciate you for doing that. First question, you just signed this parent pledge, which we open up to all elected officials, all parents across the country. Can you tell us what this means to you, the importance of empowering parents, educating parents on their rights as parents to direct the upbringing and the education of their children?
So I just think about my wife and I as we raised our 3 kids. I'm a girl dad. We took the time to spend with our kids, reading with them, volunteering in school, all that good stuff. And first of all, there's no greater satisfaction as a parent than raising your kids. But government should not be intruding into every facet of the family's life. And we would just like them to do a few basics like educate our kids, not indoctrinate them.
Sure.
If they would just do those things
Sure.
and then leave the rest to us parents, we're going to end up with good kids.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes.
Well said.
And so usually we're operating at the local level, and I'm sure you would agree with that, especially over the last 5 years after COVID. I know I've discovered the power in local government and getting involved at the school board level, at the state level. But you're involved at the federal level as a congressman. What have you seen different over this last year since President Trump was elected?
So it's really good stuff that's going on. I mean, the federal government under President Trump, he's basically saying, and if you look at the education department, he's saying, we're going to entrust the states, local people, and families to be able to manage their operations, to be able to do the right thing for kids. And rather than this heavy hand of government that puts so much red tape that shackles us, they're saying, we're going to give you the freedom. And that's one of the great things about that control is coming back to the states, to local people, but more importantly, to families. Because so many people, like you just mentioned, Scarlett, they saw what happened during COVID, locking our kids down. And we're seeing it right in Wisconsin. Think about it. Wisconsin is now behind Mississippi in educational attainment. Our kids, we have tens of thousands of kids that cannot read at grade level. And in part, it's because of those lockdowns that came from government. Let's give control back to families, and we'll get our kids educated once again.
The numbers in Milwaukee are heartbreaking. The reading level, 4% of Black students can read at grade level by the 3rd or 4th grade. That breaks my heart. That is, to me, almost abuse, because education is going to be the lifeboat at which these kids can escape poverty and have a great life. And I know that as a kid who grew up in Milwaukee and grew up in poverty, and through education, I was able to change my life and make something of my life. And without education, I don't know where I would be.
Go back to the founding of our state.
Yes.
Many of the institutions that were put together were centered around having a well-educated populace. We've always taken great pride as Wisconsinites, regardless of your political persuasion. We've always taken great pride in educating our kids well. Well, we're now falling behind. And that's why I am so glad to be here with Moms for Liberty, because they're saying we're going to take this back.
Yeah.
We want our kids to be educated. We want to have control over our families' lives. It's a great thing to see. And that's why I'm so happy to sign this.
Yeah, glad that you did. I wanted to ask you, because I know you're passionate about Title IX, protecting Title IX, biological realities, HR 28, Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act of 2025. That was passed in the House. How important was that in the House, and what it does for Title IX in making sure that we protect women and girls?
So think about one of the seminal pieces of legislation that was put into law a little over 50 years ago that said, girls, women, you are going to be treated as equals. And then we had the Biden administration come along and say, now we're going to let men go into girls' bathrooms, boys be able to get scholarships that are meant for girls.
Right.
All those things. And that is done now. That is done as a result of the change of administration, and that's really a good thing. We should be protecting Title IX with all we can. And once again, as a girl dad, that hits home. All 3 of my daughters participated in interscholastic sports. They shouldn't have to compete against guys. So and people know that, and So hopefully we're getting back to some sanity, right?
Yeah.
I have a daughter who currently competes in high school sports. I have another daughter who will be soon. And this is an issue that is really near and dear to me. Congress in 1972 passed a paragraph that the Biden administration tried to turn into a 1,500-page Wolf Manifesto. And so I was happy that you supported that legislation. And, I can't believe that that was a partisan issue. It should not be partisan. Protecting girls' sports, protecting girls' private spaces. This is common sense. It doesn't matter what someone claims, Republican, Democrat. Ask, do you want a 16-year-old, 200-pound boy competing against your daughter in a sport or in your daughter's classroom? The answer is going to be universally absolutely not. That's just common sense. And these are the things that we have to continue to advocate for with the upcoming elections.
One big, beautiful bill. People really feel like it's all political, right? I mean, that's all we ever talk about, the political side. What I found interesting in reading through some of this information, we in Wisconsin have some responsibilities to enact some of this and opt into some of this legislation. Can you talk a little bit, so you're at the federal level, again, but from Wisconsin, talk to us about our responsibilities now that the bill is passed. What would you say as the federal legislator we now need to do to really bring those benefits home?
So take education, for example. There's a credit now, a tax credit of $1,700 that parents can direct where that money is going to go to. And we included that in that bill. There's a lot of parents that are going to be able to use that now to be able to get a good education for their children. Now, $1,700 isn't the be all end all, but it helps. And it helps parents. I mean, you may have a parent that says, I can't quite afford to send my kid to a choice school. That's $1,700 maybe helps them do that. And I believe we have to opt in as a state. I think that should be a central issue in 2026. Sure. Will the next governor, will he choose to opt into that or not? I think it should be a critical issue, don't you? Sure.
I think it should be a very big issue. And I believe I just read that the Democrat Governors Association said it's a no-brainer to opt in. And I have a feeling that anyone who would be running for governor of Wisconsin should be a primary question. Will you opt into school choice? Will you provide Wisconsin students with more opportunities? I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But I also have a question on the National Education Association, the fact that they are the largest union in the country and they have a charter from Congress. And I know there's some legislation to revoke that charter. What do you think about that, considering that NEA just had a big convention where they said teaching is political? And pretty much they spent 3 days against, basically our job is to indoctrinate kids to hate President Trump. And literally we're caught on camera saying that we don't have time to talk about teaching kids to read. We have to get Trump. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so the NEA is an advocacy organization. I support the bill that you're referencing there. I signed on to a bill with Representative Fitzgerald here in Wisconsin. Among other things, it takes away the property tax exemption that they get out in Washington, D.C. Why should a purely political advocacy organization, why should they get a property tax exemption like that? So they should be able to advocate if they choose to, but they shouldn't do it with taxpayer dollars. But people should see through what is going on there. They're not standing with children. They're not standing with students. They're standing with their institution. And this is a movement that's sweeping the country, where we're one of the leaders in Wisconsin with the school choice movement back in the 1990s with Tommy Thompson. Well, it's being surpassed now in many other states, which is a great thing. Many other states have really adopted this, and it's becoming less of a partisan issue in some places, where even Democrats are beginning to understand in some locations that you got to stand with parents and children here.
Yes, I agree.
I'm sure you're sensing all the hate here. And I say that because the Southern Poverty Law Center, amongst others, have labeled Moms for Liberty a domestic terrorist organization. Yes. And the principal reason, it seems, is because we advocate for parents to have a voice. So what would you say to that kind of a designation of a group like this, or really any parent, either being surveilled or labeled or called something that they're not, simply for advocating for their own children, for the well-being of their community?
I would just say the Southern Poverty Law Center, come to a meeting.
Yeah.
Come to a meeting and talk to these people and ask them what they are seeking. First of all, they're going to find love. I think that's something that even they agree is a good thing in this world. And you just have parents that are advocating for their children. You can tell when an organization like that goes after you that you're over the target.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, I have one final question.
And then I have a request after her last
Yes.
question.
Well, I have a question. Are you going to announce that you are running for governor of Wisconsin?
Hand me that microphone. No, no.
Oh,
That's
can you say scoop? Right?
that's good. No, I've been really clear to people. It's going to be about the next 30 or 60 days that I'm going to announce whether I'm going to run or not. I'm not going to drag it out beyond the end of September. People need to get an answer. But all I know is that we do have to go in a different direction in Wisconsin. We just talked about education here in Wisconsin. We had the education governor, Tony
Yes.
Evers,
Yep.
8 years as superintendent of schools in Wisconsin. He'll be 8 years as governor, and we have fallen behind Mississippi. We are behind Mississippi. That's not an education governor. People just want their kids educated, not indoctrinated. I'm going to set, if I run, we're going to set higher standards, not lower standards.
Yeah. Yeah, 31% of our kids can read at grade level. 31% statewide.
And they celebrate that.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be great. It's really terrible. But anyway, so I do have a request, and it's not quite as tricky as that one. That's our camera right there. We're live right now. And there are chapter chairs, members, whomever that might be looking and watching right now. What would you say directly to them as Moms for Liberty members and chairs, supporters of Moms for Liberty, to encourage them? What do they need to do to keep the fight moving forward? What would you say to them directly?
So first of all, you could have no better models than the people right here in Wisconsin who are doing such a great job with Moms for Liberty. And I would say, keep up the movement. Don't be deterred. Go out there and talk to people, and don't hesitate to tell your story. And if somebody yells at you, you keep your cool. Like the Southern Poverty Law Center, just ignore them or tell them your story, what you are seeking to do, which is having the term liberty in your name is one of the greatest things you can do, because liberty is one of the most important words in the English language. You go back to the founding, the founders talked about liberty as much as they talked about freedom. And there's a distinction. We all know about freedom. We all, regardless of political persuasion, believe in freedom. But liberty is freedom with accountability for your actions. And that's what Moms for Liberty brings to the table, is accountability for the government's actions. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Congressman Tom Tiffany, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate your time.
I love that you made that comparison.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's a powerful word.
It's a
That's wonderful.
Thank
for
you
your time.
so much. Could we take a picture?
Yeah,
Let's get a picture.
Let's ask
Hey, Billy.
Here we go.
Hey, Billy.
I'm gonna start charging pictures at this rate.
Hey. How have you been?
Good save. Thank you, sir.
I got to come all the way down here to see you.
Hold on.
I can get it.
We're live.
Can you grab mine too, please? Thank you.
Here we go.
All right.
Moms for Liberty, more like moms for
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Of course.
Paparazzi, thank you.
And it's the website. We got you.
All right. Hey, Amber. Well, because we are still live. So, Amber from Wisconsin. What did I thought that was great interview, and we had several interviews beforehand that were recorded that we will air later that were really, really, really good. So,
It was a great interview.
yeah, excuse
It was a great
me.
interview.
That was great.
I loved his ending about the liberty.
I loved
The
what he was
ending
saying
with the
about
liberty.
Tina's gonna love that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
Good job.
Tina's gonna really love that.
And I love
I
the support
spent-
that we have from these elected officials, that
Yes.
how much they love Moms for Liberty.
I have a sense that he is going to be running for governor.
I think I've got that same fighting sense
I have
myself.
a fighting sense about that. Yeah.
Start to get a little dry
And I
mouth.
think he would do a good job. And typically, when we have a candidate that runs from the western part of Wisconsin, they do well and they win in statewide elections. And Tom Tiffany has been a great congressman, and I think he would be a powerful candidate for governor, especially considering that Tony Evers knows that he will not
Say goodbye to the worst governor Evers, and we want to make sure we get a governor that supports parental rights and is a big fan of Moms for Liberty and all that we're doing.
The guy who literally erased moms from the budget, crossed them out over 370 times, and instead said we are persons who are going to be inseminated.
We are mothers, and you can't take that title away.
I know. It's ridiculous, and our friend Amanda is the one who uncovered that.
Seat by seat, that's how we make the change. You got to get out and vote. That's how we make the change.
And the importance that with Moms for Liberty, we are at the local level, the school board level. But what we've noticed and why we have state legislative committees is that a lot of education policy that happens at a state capitol. And so if you want to make some changes statewide, we realized, okay, we're getting involved in school board elections, but we also have to get involved in policy and make sure that we are getting our voice out there in our state capitals and with the policies and the bills that they are passing. And that's why we referenced in previous interviews all of the legislation that we have supported, that we have helped to organize and bring people to testify in committee hearings and to show that it's not just going to be the paid union. When we go testify, who's there? They're all paid. They're all on the union payroll, or they are work for the public.
Some moms bring their kids. It's just trying to let their voices be heard and make sure that from top to bottom that they know how we feel, what our story is.
Yeah, just regular moms. We're just regular moms showing up and big moms, grandma, and they have a whole apparatus. And we are just starting and doing so well already that the Southern Poverty Law Center has to come after us with lies.
And we're going to use that as fuel. To move forward and keep moving seat by seat by seat.
To be called a hate group, a violent hate group, when we were both in Philadelphia in 2023,
death threats,
where we had to be surrounded by security guards. The police, the Philly police, we had Homeland Security, we had FBI, we had private security, all to protect moms. And all of the staff at the hotel we were at the end, they were hugging us, they were crying. They said everything that the media reports about Moms for Liberty is wrong. We are just blown away that you are just regular people, just like me, fighting for things that everyone should care about.
It should be nonpartisan.
It should be nonpartisan, absolutely. So the Southern Poverty Law Center is a group that is only good at hiding money in offshore accounts.
That's the hate.
That's a hate, and their designation of Moms for Liberty as a hate group was used for purely political reasons in order to justify the targeting and surveilling of moms who were just going to school board members saying, open up our schools, get masks off our kids,
teach them
to read, and don't talk about gender, and don't tell my kids who have brown skin that they are born victims, and if kids have white skin that they are born oppressors. That's all. That was it. That's all we did. And we also said, could you not read pornographic books to our kids in schools? It's common sense. So they have to come after us with nothing but lies. And we're tired of it. And I think we're going to see that we're going to do something about it, especially now that we have an administration that's sane and that is willing to stand up for parents and stand up for moms and for rule of law and common sense. So
I encourage you to figure out what your why is to get you motivated to attend a school board meeting, follow legislation, follow policy, start a chapter. We are in Wisconsin and we're going county by county. We've got 72 counties, and our goal is that all 72 counties have your parental rights covered.
Yes, and we are in 48 states. Go to momsforliberty.org, and we have a map, and you can see if there's a chapter in your area. If there isn't, look for the chapter that is closest to you. You can also sign up to become a national member. And if perhaps you could start your own chapter. It's getting really loud here because there are a lot of people crowded around us and we have reporters everywhere. But
We are the most happening booth over here.
oh yes, oh yes. But join the fight wherever you are. Join the fight. And we, it was just announced. We also have Moms for Liberty Academy. And the first thing that's going to be discussed is school safety. We have back to school toolkits. So we are going to deal with the issues, the everyday common sense issues that you as parents are dealing with, confused about, frustrated with. And, by joining Moms for Liberty, you also have a voice where if we're not talking about something that you care about, you can change that by joining and bringing that to our attention. But this is going to be a great year. There's going to be a lot of things happening, and the Moms for Liberty Summit is October 16th through the 18th, and it's in Orlando, and registration is still open. Well, that won't be long. We'll sell out of tickets once we start naming our speakers. The tickets sell out fast, and
you don't want to miss it.
Don't want to miss it. All right, that's
and if you're interested in sponsoring our summit, get a hold of me.
Yes, she's Amber. Amber is in charge of sponsorships. Yes, we rely on donations. This is a nonprofit organization. Yeah, that we don't have this large army of union money, no dark money. We are just moms. We are all just regular moms and dads who are doing this because we care, and there's not a lot of money in it, but there is a lot of joy, and that's why we're joyful warriors. So I think that's it for now, because we got to get back to manning our booth and getting more people to sign our parent pledge. And if you have not signed the parent pledge, or if you are a candidate and you have not signed our candidate pledge, you should sign it. Actually, there are in other states, and now I can see Wisconsin, there are candidates putting ads out saying, I signed the pledge, I'm with you. So that is how powerful Moms for Liberty is becoming in America. And we're just getting started.
Those are the ones that you want to vote for. If they stand for parental rights, that's who you want in that seat.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Now it's just